Sure. Thank you. It's great to be here. My name is Ron Singerman, and I'm a native of Los Angeles. And back about June of the year 2000, I got a call from my cousin, who's the beta tester for health things in my family. He says he found this great diet. You eat raw food. And I said, raw meat? And he said, yeah, raw meat. I said, okay. And he said, but you have to read this book to understand it. I said, okay. So I read the book. I thought about it for about 2 months, and I said, okay, I've always been one that even if it seems strange, if it makes sense, I'll try it. So about September of the year 2000, I started trying it. I went to go see Augenis almost right away because I heard you can't see him unless you read the book. Well, I read his book, which was fascinating. And one of the things I learned was, of many things, was not to be afraid of food anymore. Food is your friend. Food is not your enemy. It's not the FDA saying, oh, you got to worry about this, that, and the other, and bacteria, and oh my God. And the other thing that was really great was when you have illness symptoms, basically he was saying, well, that's mainly it's just your body detoxifying. And I said, well, it just took all the fear out of it. So then his book, from what I understood, and then from what he told me, that I was going to go through a detoxification pretty quickly, and it happened. I was detoxifying for, it seemed like 2 weeks at least. And I had cholera-like symptoms, but I didn't feel bad because I kept eating the good food. And I was detoxing and detoxing. I said, when's this going to end? And he said, just let it continue its course. So finally it ended. I was feeling better and better and better. And it's totally the opposite of what the doctors tell you. You know, you got to be afraid of this and afraid of that. So then sometime thereafter, he had this thing about the raw milk protest in downtown Los Angeles, because at that time the county of LA wasn't allowing raw milk in the county, and he was trying to get people to come on down and protest. So I said, okay, I'll come on down and protest, because I've been drinking raw milk personally since the 70s. That was one thing I had been doing. And I actually got to go in the courtroom and was listening to the county supervisors, and they took their vote, and we won. And Augenis was there, and I just felt so honored to be a part of all that. And then over the years, I kept doing the raw diet. I've probably been on it about 99.5% of the time, raw diet, since September of 2000. So I've been on it about 13 years now. My weight would fluctuate. I'd go from 165 to 195 to 175 to 185, which is where I'm at now. But each time I'd go see him, which was a couple of times, he'd do the thing with the eyes and make sure you blow up the irises real big. And he'd tell me exactly what was going on with my body. And the very first time I saw him, he said, well, you had your tonsils out, so-and-so, and you've got here on your hip, this is where you got as a baby your vaccinations, and you've got mercury this and that, and you've got scar tissue of this percentage, and he was just like boom, 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 just. And then when I go see him a couple of years, each time I had a couple of years between, he'd say, okay, your spleen it used to be 35%, now it's 65% healthy tissue, and your brain used to have so much scar tissue, and now it's got so much less. And so all these things that you quote unquote learn that you can't rebuild the brain, well, that's all BS. And you can basically, what I've been doing is just rebuilding my body all these years. And whenever I'd see Augenis, some of my recollections of him, he'd always recognize me. He'd give me a big hug. He'd always tell me, you need more sun. You know? and I said, yeah, I know, Augenis. And even before he'd say, Augenis, I know you got to tell me I need more sun. He said, that's right, you need more sun. I said, okay. Because I get sunburned real easy, but as time goes on, I'm getting more used to it. I know I still need more sun, so a lot of times I think about it. Even when he's not physically around to tell me, but I think about it. I said, okay, Augenis wants me to go get some sun. He wants me to get some fresh air. He'd say, Ron, you got to exercise 45 minutes a day. I said, really? Why is that? He says, because you're on a Jewish diet for so many years. I said, I didn't even realize. He said, yeah, the Jewish diet, you eat too much carbohydrate. So I pretty much got off the pasta, got off the bread. I pretty much all raw meat and dairy and eggs and juice and hardly any bread at all. And then one time I thought, okay, I see these organic tortillas. And he said, you can't eat those. I said, why not? Because they're fried. He said, really? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, all right, no more organic tortillas with raw butter, even though I loved it. But he was just a joy to be with. And I feel like he's here just kind of floating around here somewhere, kind of acknowledging and saying, you know, okay, he's really happy about this. And in my own personal beliefs, I feel like he's going to be with us. He's going to come back. He's going to find some body that hopefully hasn't been given vaccines, so he doesn't have to deal with all that again, because he suffered so much the first time having to get rid of all that stuff. But the guy, to me, was a living miracle to go through what he did and to be defeated by some stupid balcony in Thailand. But But I feel like, he's given us these books. He's given us all these lectures and recordings. There's so much material. And I've got my own recorded lectures of him, like just from last year. I've got this 45-minute WAV file where he's telling me, do this, 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 and this. He was so exact. And I'll close with the one thing that I told him when I first met him at the first evaluation out in the Malibu area, or Agora. I said, Ajanis, you prescribe food like a doctor prescribes medicine. He said, that's exactly right. And I thought, just what a natural, wonderful way to solve your body's problems. And the only other thing I want to say that I thought was really interesting, I don't know if he said this to me, but there was someone near him that asked, Ajanis, is it okay to eat seared tuna? It's raw inside, it's just seared on the outside. And he said, is it okay that if you put your arm in some hot steam and sear that? And the person said, no, I guess not. He said, well, that's the answer. It's not okay. So anyway, he was just a brilliant, brilliant person. I say in the past tense, but I really feel like he still exists, so I'm going to say he is a brilliant person. Yeah. Somewhere he's got to come back, he's got to keep teaching, but in the meantime, we have all his material. So it seems to me that our biggest challenge is organizing it and not giving it away, because I feel like it could earn money to help our group and help us grow and help with all the legal defense that still needs to be done. Yes. Thank you, everyone.